What is up, everybody? Yes, this is Sunday. This is the after party. We just got done with an epic episode of VR Roundtable, possibly one of our longest episodes, honestly. Maybe one of our longest episodes since we maybe did like a Game of the Year episode or something like that. Maybe some of those episodes were pretty long, but that was a really long episode. And it was very interesting, a lot of interesting discussion. If anybody that's watching this video has not checked it out, definitely be sure later today, maybe bounce over to the VR Roundtable channel and go ahead and check out the archive stream of VR Roundtable episode 101. We were joined by Sebastian from MRTV fame. And it was really interesting having Sebastian on because, you know what, he gave us kind of like the good side of Pimax, why we want to have a Pimax headset. And then at the very end of the episode, it was completely the opposite. He kind of talked about how Pimax, the company themselves, seems like they really have no clue whatsoever towards what they're doing. They are passionate about VR, and that is a wonderful thing. They have our best interests in mind in terms of their passion for VR, but it sounds like they're kind of making it up as they go along over there at Pimax. So that is a little bit troubling. It was funny to see Steve. Did you guys see the expression on Steve's face? Because as Sebastian started going into that rant at the very end of the show, the expression on Steve's face changed quite dramatically. He's definitely a little bit worried about that from that standpoint, pre-ordering the Pimax. Okay, so anyway, it is I believe we're now on episode 243. Don't know for I think we're on 243. It is October 28th. It is Sunday. We call it Sunday Fun Day. We call it the after party. A lot of times we don't have a lot of big time breaking news that is going on a Sunday. It's usually pretty slow, but we do have a couple of minor things to get into. First of all, why don't we go ahead and start things off with the announcement of a new game? At least as far as I know, I haven't heard about this game until today, and that is Titan Slayer 2. Now, this video is 480p. I don't even know that this is like an official trailer or anything. I grabbed this somewhere. Let's go ahead and check this out. Gotta resize that. All right, so that is Titan Slayer 2. Obviously, yeah, this is a 480p video, so not very good quality. This is not the official trailer as far as I know, but Vincent Teo from Arthans VR had this up on his YouTube channel. He has a habit of getting trailers that nobody else has. He must really know where to go to find these trailers. But yeah, Titan Slayer 2 is coming soon. There is a Steam page for it. And, you know, we don't know like the date of it or anything like that. Let me see here. I'm looking up the Titan Slayer. That is the original game. It's very positive on the reviews for the original one. Now I can't find Titan Slayer 2. I was trying to find the Titan Slayer 2 Steam page. Okay, here it is. Found it. Okay, and I can go ahead and show you guys this real quick. So over here, this is Titan Slayer 2 coming soon. We do not have a release date. Maybe I would have to assume that this is maybe coming sometime later this year or very, very early in 2019. We could take a look at some of the screenshots here. You know, I don't think I ever played Titan Slayer, the first one. I might have played the demo for a minute. Wasn't that really into it, but it did get some pretty good reviews. Graphics look pretty good on this trailer here. And anytime you have a company that has already made one game and they're now making another in the same category, you can see here, Titan Slayer, it's 13 bucks. It's got very positive on the reviews, only 67 reviews. This is quite some time ago, back in April of 2017. Colopal is the publisher, I believe. I'm not sure if it's the actual developer as well, but a lot of people did kind of like Titan Slayer, so it's good news. We've got a Titan Slayer 2 that is going to be coming along at some point. Okay, let's see. What else did I want to get into here? Hold on a sec. Little discombobulated slightly because that was a very long episode that we just dealt with there for VR Roundtable. Kind of dragged on a little bit there. Let me go ahead and switch up my trailer. I got to fix my trailer window again because all my trailers are going to be off from resizing that 480p trailer. So let me go ahead and fix this. Whoops. So future trailers will be on point. And this trailer that I have on the screen right now, this of course is Wilson's Heart. And you know what? I do have this on screen actually for a real reason. This is Oculus's daily deal. So if you've never picked up Wilson's Heart, here's a chance to get it. It is $9.99. It is a 10 spot. And that's actually a pretty good deal. If you've never had Wilson's Heart for 10 bucks, not a bad deal at all. And especially with Halloween and everything, it does kind of have that Halloween flavor. Pretty good production value. Remember, this is Twisted Pixel is the developer of this game. They, of course, are working on Defector. We were hoping we were going to get Defector in 2018. That's coming in early 2019. But if you want to check out their first game, why am I not hearing sound? Okay, now, oh, you know what? My volume is way. I do this every time. I have my volume way the hell low, and I don't hear any volume. So sorry about that. I was probably blasting your guys' ears off with those trailers a little bit earlier. But yeah, this is Wilson's Heart. It is 10 bucks. Not a bad deal. You can check it out over here on the Oculus store. You can see the normal price is 30 bucks, so $10, not too bad. You can also get it in this combo pack for 40 bucks where you get Paranormal Activity and you also get Duck Season. But honestly, I think I would rather just buy this for 10. And, you know, you could always pick up Duck Season or something a little bit down the line. So with this being the daily deal, I think I'd probably just go ahead and go with Wilson's Heart. Have I ever finished Wilson's Heart? No, of course not. I'm probably like 65-70% of the way through this game. I played quite a bit of it. I was stuck on a certain puzzle, and I normally do not like going to the interwebs, as Sebastian said a number of times, and looking up, you know, playthroughs and walkthroughs of Wilson's Heart to kind of figure out, I forget the puzzle that I was stuck on, but I was stuck at a certain part. And so every time I thought about going back into Wilson's Heart, I'm like, yeah, but I'm stuck. I'm stuck at that one part there. So I haven't gotten back into it, but I would like to finish the game. I think it is quality, pretty decent, not a bad game by any stretch of the imagination. Okay, so the other topic I wanted to get into today is that there is an additional review that I've seen for the Samsung Odyssey. Let me go ahead and switch up this trailer. I'll put it on something else real quick, and we'll get into a little bit of Samsung Odyssey discussion. Hold on a sec here. Let me just find some new trailer to go to. Let's see. What can we go to? How about Robo Recall? Yeah, Robo Recall is actually a good trailer to go to because this guy that tried the Samsung Odyssey was actually mentioning Robo Recall, and he even takes a picture through the headset from his Note 5 of Robo Recall, kind of showing what it looks like in terms of the screen door effect elimination. Okay, so why don't we go ahead and bounce over here. This is the review that I'm talking about. This is on the Vive subreddit. So far as I can tell, there's only really been 2 major reviews of Odyssey Plus so far. We don't have like Sweeviver, MRTV, all these different guys. They haven't gotten their hands on Odyssey Plus yet. So it's been just a couple random people that have gotten Odyssey Pluses and have decided to jump onto Reddit and give us their thoughts. And so this is Samsung Odyssey Plus initial test impression with Robo Recall. And he's saying he grabbed the Plus today and that the original Odyssey was pretty much his main HMD. He says it's pretty comfortable. The padding is improved from the old one. Strap mechanism is the same, but the headset is slightly smaller. There is a open nose gap, and you can see the floor. The weight is comfy, not so bothersome. That is one of the slight issues I have, because I have seen a video where it shows the original Samsung Odyssey and then it shows the Odyssey Plus, and you can tell that the Odyssey Plus is actually significantly smaller, and they changed the face box a little bit. And I guess maybe one of the minor issues could be you might get a little bit more of light leakage in the nose area. But just like we were on the VR Roundtable episode earlier today, episode 101, and Sebastian from MRTV, he was talking about the Samsung Odyssey, the first one. In fact, he grabbed it and showed it, and he pretended it was the Odyssey Plus for a second just to, screw around with Steve a little bit there. But he was saying that the one problem he had with the Odyssey is that it kind of pinched your nose a little bit there. So hopefully that has been improved, but I am a tiny bit worried about like light leakage with them changing that face box, so to speak. Okay, so here's the main story. Yes, now that SDE is not an issue, we can clearly see in what area the visuals can improve. More active pixels. He's talking about, is it screen door free? Yes. The detail resolve in Robo Recall is very, very good. No other headset at the moment can compare to it. It is simply the best looking image that you can achieve besides the new Pimax, and of course Star VR, and of course Xtal. I'm sure those are beyond where Odyssey Plus is, but in terms of like consumer based headsets, this appears to be the best one out there, other than the Pimax 5K Plus probably right about now. And one of the things that he did mention at one point is he says, now when I see robots flying very high on the sky towards me, they do not look pixelated. It sort of looks like the graphics of an old PlayStation 3 or Xbox 360. His conclusion says, if you absolutely must get rid of screen door effect, there is no better headset at the moment. This HMD is for you. If you have the first gen Odyssey or the Vive Pro and you're happy with it, no need to upgrade, as the image is very good already. The Plus looks better, but it is not a must. If you are into flying sims, car sims, I would say it is a welcome upgrade. And then he does have this picture here. However, it's quite blurry. The one thing about this picture is it really does makes it look like there is very much a softening to the image quality, but that could be more of the picture than anything. I don't know, man. I think I would really like to try this headset. And we did find out Steve, of course, has ordered one of these headsets. So Steve is going to get his hands on the Odyssey Plus. So we'll get some firsthand impressions probably on the next episode of VR Roundtable, episode 102 next Sunday. I'm sure he will be talking about that in detail. So let's see what people are talking about over here in chat. So Powell Gronskowski, I'm just going to call you Gronk, okay? Gronk is checking in, and he says, funny enough, I bought Red Matter yesterday and finished it in less than 3 hours. Wow, he must really banged away on that game, because I know I put a lot more than 3 hours in the game. However, I can tell you guys that when I go through games, I mean, most of the longtime fans of this show probably know I'm the type that likes to take my time. I like to look at everything. I like to smell the flowers. I like to soak up the atmosphere and the general vibe of everything and just kind of like marinate in it. And I had a lot of fun with Red Matter. I know it took me a lot more than 3 hours, but I wasn't trying to really A to B it. But for the price, it is on sale. Red Matter, I think it's 18 bucks. Not a bad deal. Paradise Decay says, Anthony, you really should finish Wilson's Heart if just for the twist and the surprise ending. Yes, I do need to go back to it. No question about it. And Fluke picked up Red Matter as well when it was on sale. How clean are the graphics in that game? Red Matter, I think the graphics are incredibly clean. I had a 970, okay, a 970, and I really felt like I had a 1080 Ti. It looked absolutely gorgeous, absolutely beautiful for me in Red Matter. One of the reasons I liked it so much, every once in a while you get some people on Reddit in the various subreddits, and they'll be asking, what is a good game, what is a good VR game for a PC with lower end specs? And I would have to say Red Matter is a pretty good game for that, because on my 970, it ran absolutely flawlessly, never had any problems with it, crystal clear, really good lighting. I love the lighting, I love the music, pretty solid game, Red Matter. And then let's see, Conrad Lawrence says, would the filter Samsung uses affect clarity? I play flight sims and reading the dials is essential. Well, that's really, the proof is in the pudding, right? We're going to have to wait till Martin, Sweeviver or Sebastian, MRTV, or some of these other people where they really are almost like specializing in hardware, in VR hardware. They try all the different headsets. They put it through rigorous testing. They test it with all kinds of different games. They do A/B samples. They really get in depth with it. And it's going to be interesting when Martin and Sebastian both get their hands on the Samsung Odyssey, and they're going to be considering that, especially Sweeviver. I think he really gets into like racing games and stuff like that. So all the dials, the question that Conrad basically has is like, okay, yeah, eliminating screen door is really awesome, but at what price? Are you softening all the rest of the graphics? And I mean, if we go back over here to these images of Robo Recall, it really looks like they are being very much softened, but I caution judging a camera that is shooting through a lens. It's so hard to tell. You really got to get this headset on your head. You're not going to know from pictures. We really need to wait till there's a lot more people out there that have their hands on the Samsung Odyssey, but it does seem promising. It does seem interesting. And, that one guy, I mean, he kind of was saying, look, you could be fine with the regular Odyssey, and the regular Odyssey is only $350 now. They're pretty much clearing out. I think what Samsung is basically doing is they want to clear out all their current stock of Odyssey 1, and they're doing that at that $350 price. And you pay $150 more, you get maybe some better padding, maybe some slightly better audio, maybe not so much a pinching on your nose, and of course the screen door elimination. Supposedly the softening is the question. We just don't know. We're going to have to see some in-depth comparisons on dials in Assetto Corsa, Competizione, and all these different games where the dials and the indicators are so very important. So we'll have to kind of wait on that a little bit. Yeah, Powell, we'll just call him Gronk again. Gronk says, yeah, I don't know if I'd want to have a blurred image. I'm sure the image isn't very, I don't think it's obviously blurred. I don't think anybody is going to put an Odyssey Plus on their head and immediately go, oh my God, everything's so soft in this. Get this the hell off of me. I think what they're going to do is, if you really start, if you're looking for it, you might notice a bit of softness in the image. But otherwise, I think you're not really going to suffer that much. Really, what they're concentrating on is in between the pixels and diffusing that light so it just kind of blends in. And so you don't see the space in between the pixels. That's going to be their concentration and focus. So I don't think it's going to jack up the rest of it. So I think it'll probably be a decent headset. Now, the real question is, do you go the Samsung Odyssey route? Do you go the Pimax 5K Plus route? And I kept I had an excuse. I gave myself an out, basically. Every time I started to think internally about the Pimax 5K Plus, I just said, well, you know what? I'm not going to want a Pimax 5K Plus. You know why? Because I don't want to have to buy a new video card. I just got this 1080 Ti. I don't want to have to buy a 2080 Ti just to enjoy this 5K Plus. But according to Sebastian of MRTV, if you have it in the normal resolution mode, not the super wide mode, you can be fine with your 1080 Ti. You can play pretty much every game. So that excuse has gone out the window now. So now I have to legitimately consider the Pimax 5K Plus. Steve went ahead and ordered one. He's got his pre-order in. He is locked and loaded. Of course, again, at the very end of that show, Sebastian threw a lot of caution to the, well, not, he didn't throw caution to the wind. He added caution by saying, wait a minute, this company does have some management issues. They seem to be kind of like flying by the seat of their pants, so to speak, and making it up as they go along, and that is a little bit troublesome. That is a little bit worrisome. Simplex PL says, no, you don't need a 1080 Ti for Pimax. You'd be good there. Now, what I would need is I need some Vive controllers and I need some base stations, but I think the way to go down that road is go ahead and find yourself a used Vive on eBay or Craigslist or something like that. With all of these new headsets coming out, with the HTC Vive Pro coming out and having been out for so long, with the Odyssey Plus coming out, with these Pimax headsets coming out, you're going to see some people dumping their old HTC Vive. So maybe that could be an option for me. Grab a used HTC Vive to get some lighthouses, get some wands, and then maybe go down the Pimax 5K road. Don't know. It's tempting. I mean, man, Sebastian was just ranting and raving about how you cannot go back, that once you've gone down the Pimax road, you cannot go back. So that's certainly interesting to be sure. Okay, what else did we want to get into? Well, you know what? There is a rumor out there about Red Dead Redemption and VR. Now, this rumor is, there's not a lot behind this rumor. It is a very, you know, there's not a lot going on here with this rumor. I mean, it's kind of grasping at straws, so to speak, but let's go ahead and cover it anyway. So I'm going to go ahead and move over to the web browser window here, and you can see right here, Red Dead Redemption 2's companion app seems to have a reference to VR. And so basically what it is at one point, they've done some data mining on Red Dead Redemption 2, and apparently in this companion app, there is a string titled param_Oculus. And basically there's all these different params and underscore something, param this, param that, and it's basically parameters. And so we have this thing, parameters_Oculus. Now, does this mean that Red Dead Redemption 2 is an Oculus Rift exclusive, coming exclusively to the CV2, which is coming next year? Shocker of shockers. No, I don't know. I don't know what's going on here. I mean, we can hope. We can definitely hope. And we recently had that story, of course. We did have the story of the HTC Vive executive that says Rockstar is still working on VR. They're working on a number of VR projects. We just can't say anything about it. They're not going to say anything about it. But, you know, would it completely blow my mind if Oculus maybe reached into their war chest of funds and paid some extra money to Rockstar and 2K Games to try to make a VR-compatible version of Red Dead Redemption 2? I mean, I don't know that it would completely blow my mind. It seems super unlikely. There is a first-person mode. You know, there's a first-person mode in Red Dead Redemption 2, which means like converting it to VR wouldn't be too extremely complicated. So it's probably much ado about nothing, but it's still interesting. We want to keep our eyes on it as well. Okay, let's see what folks are talking about. Tom Lloyd says, I'm not buying a new VR headset until I get a new video card. My PC is up to date, but my GPU is weak. It's a 1060, 6 gig, and the rest is an i5-8400 with 16 gigs of RAM and an SSD, but a HDD for second drive. Yeah, so you're kind of in the scenario that Paradise Decay is in. I believe he has a 1060 6 gig card as well. and able to play pretty much everything. But, you know, occasionally it will show that you do probably need a new video card at some point. I'm kind of in your boat, though, in terms of like that i5-8400. I've been thinking about CPUs. I've been thinking about motherboards and memory, because getting this 1080 Ti, it has improved a lot of things, but I still feel like I'm kind of treading water and I'm a little bit below the water line and I need to bump all that up. But what I've kind of decided is I am going to wait for Black Friday. However, what I am doing, this is kind of like off topic a little bit, but what I am doing is I'm starting to take a look at motherboards. I'm starting to take a look at CPUs. I'm starting to take a look at memory. So I'll kind of have a slight idea of what I should be looking at and looking for. And then when Black Friday hits, if there's a really good deal with Newegg or Fry's, or somebody has a really banger of a deal, then I might jump on it and I might go down that road. So I do know what you're talking about there. VRium says Amazon launches smart glasses this year. You know, Amazon is another player that could get involved in this market. That would be interesting to be sure. You know, we were talking on the show actually about Pimax, and it seems like Pimax is a great acquisition target for somebody out there, because it seems like they have all the enthusiasm and the creativity, and they're really trying to push boundaries, but it seems from a business standpoint, they really don't know what they're doing. It would kind of be nice if another company came in and said, hey, we really like what you're doing here. Can we partner with you? We'll let you have maybe the Chinese market. Let us control the North American market, and we can help you out with your Pimax headsets, with the manufacturing, with the support, with all of that. That would be a dream come true. That's something I'd really look forward to. Lenovo, Acer, who knows? Somebody getting involved with Pimax, maybe Amazon, who knows? Lots of people could get involved there. Fluke says, I'd be surprised if Red Dead Redemption 2 did have VR support. I could imagine they might do a small spin-off experience. And King Hell says, doesn't need to be first person for VR. That is absolutely true. Phil Yarn says, LA Noire was a decent start for them. I still have not re-downloaded LA Noire. It is an absolutely huge game, and I do need to probably re-download that and give it a try again now that I have upgraded. Paradise says Red Dead Redemption VR mode will probably be a cowboy wave shooter short experience. Dude, all I know is I did love the original Red Dead Redemption. I have not messed with Red Dead Redemption 2 at all. Like I told you guys, I don't mess with flat games anymore. I let my, you know, I've gone away from flat gaming. I just don't want to revisit that. As tempting as it is for me to just drive down to my local supermarket, and they probably have Red Dead Redemption 2 in the red box. I mean, it's probably checked out, but I could probably find it at some point and get it. The problem with jumping into a game like Red Dead Redemption 2 on my PlayStation 4 is that, man, you start up a flat game, it's got a million cinema. Like, how long does it? Seriously, those of you that are playing Red Dead Redemption 2, those of you that are good with flat and VR and you mix and match, how long was it until you were actually playing Red Dead Redemption 2? Because so many of these AAA pancake games, it's like an hour before you're actually playing the game. And I just don't have time for that anymore. And I know it would be cool to be in that world and the trees and the horses and just the overall environment of it all, but to have it all surrounding you in VR, oh my God, that would be so awesome. So yeah, I really am looking forward to that. Let's see. Yeah, flat and pancake. Red Dead 2 VR would be a system seller. Faux show. That is Phil Yarn checking in. Yeah, it would be powerful. I mean, it does say Param Oculus. You know, it's kind of interesting that it does say Oculus, and that could be the type of thing that Oculus could do in terms of where do we spend our money. Maybe if we offered 2K Games like a $20 million payment to give us exclusive rights to a VR adaptation of Red Dead Redemption 2 for 1 year. You know, would that be enough to move the needle? Offering them $20 million, you know, is that a good way to spend $20 million? It would certainly be interesting. Of course, we do know that, you know, it seems like Oculus is kind of moving away from from PC VR to standalone. So it kind of seems weird that they would invest in this, although this could have been something that was already done and was already locked in. So basically, let's see, did I have anything else that I wanted to get into real quick? Yeah, we covered Titan Slayer 2, Wilson's Heart on sale, the Red Dead Redemption rumor, and we also covered Samsung Odyssey Plus. So that's pretty much all I had, guys, coming into this show. Don't have anything else. We can, of course, check out Upload VR, Road to VR, although I'm looking at it right now and it doesn't look like anything's been updated. A lot of these websites typically take Sunday off. They kind of take a little break on Sunday, although Road to VR does have a couple of stories I haven't seen before. So why don't we go ahead and bounce over there real quick. We can talk a little bit about that. So Steam VR, new Valve data gives fresh insight into number of VR headsets used on Steam. I have not checked this out. During Melbourne Games Week this week, Valve revealed a fresh set of official figures about its user population on Steam. Okay, this is kind of interesting. 47 million daily active users, 90 million monthly active users, 18.5 million peak concurrent users, and 1.6 million new purchasers per month. And then they kind of, I don't know, let's see, Road to VR ran the figure against the most recent hardware and software survey and found the following counts for headsets. Okay, so they're taking the percentages and they're using that information and they're taking the percentages and they're saying there's about 306,000 Oculus Rift players on Steam, 274,000 HTC Vive players, 47K on Windows Mixed Reality, 13K with the Vive Pro, and DK2 has about 7K. So they're just kind of extrapolating those numbers there. Don't know how accurate that is, but that is a new article on Road to VR. And then this is something I haven't seen yet. Microsoft reveals Maquette, a VR tool for spatial ideation and design. So this is kind of interesting. Haven't checked that out. I'm not sure if this is for use with the tool will support Windows, VR headsets, Oculus Rift, and HTC Vive, though it isn't clear on which platforms it will be hosted. Some evidence suggests that it might launch initially on Steam VR. So this is Maquette. Interesting. Haven't seen too much about that. So that's kind of all that's going on right now. Not a lot of news breaking, but let's go ahead and jump back over here to the to our chat. And Kev Gret says, you don't want to start brewing coffee in real time, Anthony? You know, I do. My Keurig is over there, and it's in the other room, and I would love to fire it up one more time because let me tell you, that first show was very long, and I'm starting to chug a little bit, you know, absolutely. And let's see. Conrad Lawrence is mentioning there is a Jet Island update. Yes, I did hear something about Jet Island. It is in the news a little bit. Let me go ahead and jump over. We can jump over to its Steam page, and it probably has all the breakdown on the update there. Jet Island, still a great game. Very positive on the reviews. $20. Master Indie, of course, is the developer, and here it is. Very positive. 181 reviews. Doing quite well. And there is, you know, this new update number 1. This just came out on the 23rd. New abilities, a new intro boss, improved tutorial, new intro boss, hookshot retract ability, power jump ability, bend your knees, blah, blah, blah. A bunch of minor changes as well. Unlock drone locations on map after beating the final boss, gun upgrades, long shot, power shot, auto charge. So, you know, sometimes with these updates, a big part of having these updates is that you get another bump in the press. And so you're going to get mentioned again by Upload VR, by Road to VR, and all of that. So some of the updates are relatively minor, not necessarily a major deal, but this was already a good game. The improved tutorial, hopefully what that will do is it'll help a lot of noobs that jump into Jet Island and they don't understand Jet Island because they don't understand the controls. And it's really easy if you were to just fire up Jet Island and you didn't really pay attention on like the controls and how to do things, you could come away with a very bad impression of the game. In fact, I think Gary, I don't mean to put Gary on the spot, but I think Gary thought the controls were kind of crap. Or maybe it was Steve. Somebody did, and it's really just a matter of learning the controls. There is a learning curve to Jet Island. It's not the type of game you just jump right into. You immediately know how to play. And so if you're quick to make a decision, you could come away making a bad decision about Jet Island not being a good game, because it really is pretty solid. So there is that. Let's see. Is there any other news? We could, of course, go to the various subreddits and take a quick look and see if anything else has popped up. Let me go ahead and bounce over to the Vive subreddit real quick. Yeah, so they have that new Valve data gives fresh insight into number of VR headsets. That's a link to the Road to VR article. We already know about Blade and Sorcery. This one looks pretty good. I believe it's coming December 14th. And there is a beta for this. It's a closed beta. And I believe starting on Monday, we can contact, like YouTubers and stuff can contact the developer behind this game on their Discord channel and try to get into the open beta. So I'm going to try to do that. I'm going to try to get into this open beta, hopefully, because I'm very curious about the physics. Like, the physics look really good with that game, and so I'm curious about that. Here's that other Samsung Odyssey review. You know, we only have a handful of these so far, and I guess this guy tried the Star Wars movie on Odyssey Plus. He's trying a lot of different things. Titan Slayer 2 is coming soon. We know about that. Oregon Quarter is my favorite horror game and my favorite VR game, period. And you know what? I mean, I'm not going to say it's my favorite VR game, but I loved Oregon Quarter. I really feel the vibe. It's the vibe of Oregon Quarter that is so impressive to me, because it's just, man, it's just it's a bleak existence in Oregon Quarter. It just feels like a dreary, oppressive existence when I'm in that game. It just feels sad and just sadness, and that's awesome that you could just get into an environment and get that feeling just from being in an environment like that. I know a lot of people, you don't want to be sad, you want to be happy and stuff, but this is a horror game. Pretty freaky. I still have never finished Oregon Quarter. I kind of was stuck in it and didn't know what to do at a certain point. You're checking out all these different apartments. You're kind of in this apartment complex from hell, but it's a pretty cool game. I like it. You know, they're talking, of course, about the Red Dead 2 companion app. Might be referring to something there. Reminder, Steam Halloween sale, likely to start very soon, so hold on to your wallet. That is Arthan's VR actually checking in there. And Subnautica used to be good, but now it's in my top 3 VR games. You know what's interesting? We did the VR Roundtable episode. We just did that episode, right? And we were talking about Zero Caliber. We were all talking about it. We didn't talk about War Dust. I guess nobody else tried War Dust. It's kind of weird we didn't end up talking about that, because I don't think we've mentioned War Dust on VR Roundtable yet. Let me go ahead and bounce back over here to the Oculus one. Let's see if there's anything new on the Oculus side. And you know, Wilson's Heart, we mentioned it's only $10. This guy posted about Oregon Quarter over here as well. Wonder if this guy's related to the dev, you know, posting in both areas. Nah, I don't know. 1 week later, War Dust is living up to the hype. Are you guys still playing War Dust on a regular basis? Those of you that got into it. And then, of course, yeah, we did have our VR Roundtable a little bit earlier today, including Sebastian. That was cool. It was nice to have him on there. Vox Machina, no players online. I did see this the other day. Are you guys noticing this? I haven't been back into this in a while. I was enjoying my time in Vox Machina. It's just I'm trying to try other stuff, you know, so I can report on other stuff. And I have not been back into Vox. But let's go ahead and go back into chat. Mainfan says, Anth, you need to fight the bosses in Jet Island. Yeah, and Mainfan intends to make a video about it, which is a good idea, because Mainfan, I think what you should do with your video is kind of explain to noobs what they should be doing in Jet Island, because mostly what I do in Jet Island is just kind of like zone out. I really zone out and just kind of explore the countryside. That's typically what I'm doing in Jet Island for the most part. VRM says, I want a multiplayer game that opens for VR and flat player. Flat and VR needs to find a magic way to come together. Good luck with that. No, no, yeah, that would be nice. Conrad Lawrence is saying, at Paradise Decay, did you play Blade and Sorcery? I'm guessing Paradise is in the same boat as me. He's probably going to have to hop into the Discord channel tomorrow and try to request to see if he can get into that closed beta. I know I'll be trying to do that. And let's see what else is going on here. Hey, Reckoner. Reckoner is showing up. Gary is in chat. What's up, Gary? That was a long show, right? And then Gary, it's funny, as that show continued and as Sebastian continued to kind of go on his rant about Pimax and a little bit of their ineptness, I could see Gary wondering to himself, when is this show ever going to end? He was kind of wondering like that. I mean, at least that's what I thought. I don't know. And Fluke says, so the Vox Machina honeymoon period was a short one then. Well, I'm not saying that I'm not interested in Vox Machina. See, for me, I always have to keep bouncing to other games. You know, that's the way this is. I'm trying other games. Oh, you know what? I do have another news story to go to. That reminds me, because I'm playing games that you guys don't know about right now. And, you know, a lot of these games are embargoed and stuff like that. And so I have to keep going to new games. I have to keep moving on. It's you know, it's a constant struggle to go towards these new games and keep finding these new games. So let me go ahead and throw another trailer on here, because we've heard about this game, this next trailer that I'm about to put on. Let me get into the right screen here. Okay, so we heard about this game a while back. This is Transpose by Secret Location. And this is coming soon. These are the guys that made Blasters of the Universe. And so we saw this initial trailer, didn't really know much about it. Looks kind of weird and trippy. At the time, we knew that this was coming soon, but we didn't actually have a locked-in release date. Now, I found out about the locked-in release date, and I didn't know it was public information, but then I find out that, oh, this is public information. It was on a story on Upload VR, and they also have it on their Steam page. So what I'm talking about here is November 6th. Yes, Transpose by Secret Location is coming on November 6th. It says Transpose is a dreamlike and gravity-defying puzzle game in VR. It challenges players to solve increasingly complex physics puzzles as they explore an extraordinary, surreal world. And the graphics do look highly surreal. Very Tron-ish, very... you know, next-gen style. Now, the only thing I'm worrying about here, this looks like one of those games that is going to make my brain hurt a little bit in terms of, like, the ceiling becoming the floor becoming the ceiling, and, like, trying to navigate through these puzzles. And sometimes these games bother me, where they become a little bit... you know, it starts to hurt my brain, and it's just like, I don't know that I want my brain to be like dealing with this, you know, but I mean, this looks cool. The visuals are definitely interesting, very colorful, very bright, very surreal. And Secret Location, I've been a fan of most of what they've done. These are the guys, didn't they do, well, I know they did Blasters of the Universe, but they also did the Great Sea, right? These are the Great Sea, yeah. They did Blasters of the Universe, Great Sea, and Transpose. So, you know, they've done a lot in VR already, Secret Location. So I am looking forward to Transpose. This is coming November 6th. It's right around the corner. So again, some more good games keep leaking in to November and December. It's starting to get more and more crowded. See, at the time we originally saw this trailer, It was fall 2018. We didn't know exactly. Now we know, November 6th. So there is a lot of stuff right around the corner. Okay. Gary says, my wife is going to make me watch something on TV soon, so I'm just catching as much of Anthony's show as I can. Yeah. Is your wife watching, like, what is she into, Gary, on her TV shows? My wife watches this show called, I think it's Ozark, just Ozark. She's addicted to that. She watches multiple episodes. I'm not sure what season she's on. I've watched a couple of episodes. It's a very dark show. It's always overcast. It's always dreary. It's always in shadows, in dark houses. Not a lot of lights are turned on. And it seems like everything continues to go wrong for this couple. But that's what my wife's into anyways. Kid Tokay says, did you ever play Chronos? Yes, I did. And I liked Chronos a lot. That was kind of more in the earlier days when we were first kind of discovering that, hey, guess what? Third-person platforming games work quite well in VR. They look quite magical in VR. And Chronos was one of our first examples that 3D platformers work perfectly fine. Now, Kid Tokay, if you're going to ask me, did I finish Chronos? Of course not. Of course not. Probably maybe halfway through if I'm lucky. And Kev Gret says Ozarks is awesome. Yeah, my wife is really into it. And Kid Tokay says Ozarks is fire. So I don't know, man. So here's my complaint on Ozarks, like not knowing anything about it. Like, I really don't know much about it. I've seen maybe 1 or 2 episodes. I do think the kid, like their son, he's kind of weird and interesting. He's probably the most interesting character in the show, actually, from the brief minutes that I've watched of it. But my take with it is, so the main guy in Ozarks, Marty, or whatever his name is, the main character, right? It seems like every episode is like they keep dropping some neutron bomb on top of this guy, some horrible situation that this guy has to deal with. And that seems like what it is. Every single episode is they drop some horrible situation on him where it seems bleak beyond compare. And he just has to keep dealing with these horrible situations. And it kind of seems like it's over and over and over again. I'm sure there's a lot more subtlety to that. Okay, I'm a Dreamer says, yeah, my brain felt funny in some moments in Bound when these surreal gravity shifting moments happen. Sometimes that is a situation when they start playing with where the floor and the ceiling is. I kind of get confused in some of these games. Do you guys remember Descent way back in the days? You know, where you don't know what, there is no ceiling, there is no floor, you know, there's no side walls. Like, you could go anywhere and everywhere. And I feel like I want to know where the damn floor is. So I want to know where the floor is because then I kind of have a grasp of what the hell is going on. And if I don't know where the floor or the ceiling is, I don't know. It makes my brain hurt a little bit. Gary says they're probably going to be watching Killing Eve or something like that. Yeah, that's a little bit of Netflix, Amazon Prime discussion there. And Cedric Harris says, I just got Edge of Nowhere. Like it so far. Creepy. Yeah, you know, Edge of Nowhere has that creep factor. Rex Terra says transference melted his brain. Transference didn't confuse me very much, but it did freak me out in certain occasions. And Chris Richardson says, you got Ozark pretty much pegged. It's Breaking Bad times 10. That's the point. People don't have time for things to develop anymore. Yeah, that's kind of the way I pegged it. It's pretty much just nothing but bad shit that this guy has to deal with over and over again. But going back to Edge of Nowhere, I was surprised how much of a creep factor it had and how much of a horror element it had as well. Because you do get some creepy crawlies that are crawling around that definitely can scare the crap out of you, for sure. And Paradise says Edge of Nowhere is his Cloverfield in VR. Alrighty, guys. Well, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and check out of here. I don't know how long I've been going. We might be kind of, this might not be a very long show. But you know what? This sweatshirt, I put this on at what, like 8:30 a.m. this morning Pacific time. And it was chilly. this morning. It is now very hot. I am burning up. I don't know if you see sweat or anything, but I can tell you these lights are heating me like crazy. I am burning up. I can't take this off because all I got is a plain white t-shirt on underneath, and that's kind of lame. So I don't want to do that. So I'm going to go ahead and say this has been our Sunday episode. A bit of a shit show. We did have a few things that we could cover, but once again, I will suggest everybody go ahead, watch episode 101 of VR Roundtable. If you haven't checked that out, be sure to check it out. I think it was a lot of interesting discussion with Sebastian. Got some interesting takes on Sebastian. It was kind of shocking. Did you guys get a little bit shocked? He basically said Rift 2 is dead, period. And he wasn't backing away from it at all. He's basically just simply written off the Oculus Rift 2 altogether. So he kind of went even more hardcore than I was going. And Gary, who's in chat, kind of seemed to be on the opposite side of the coin. I still feel like Gary has a little bit of that Oculus fanboy deep down in his heart. Like, he was a fan of Oculus from the very beginning and really believed in the Oculus dream. And I think that may have clouded his vision a little bit in regards to the whole Oculus kerfuffle. But yeah, it was an interesting show. So if you didn't check out episode 101 of VR Roundtable, be sure to check that out. And Paradise Decay says, I'm with Gary. So Paradise, you still got that deep down love for Oculus. You just can't see him in a bad light. And Gary says, don't say that. No, that is not true. I am objective about this. But yeah, we can talk about that some more. I need to have Gary on one of these episodes. And, you know, when he has a free moment sometime, he's got to come on one of our regular episodes and just kind of, you know, just basically have a conversation going on as we do the show. That would be pretty fun. I'm looking forward to that. All right, folks, I am going to bounce out of here now. Be sure to subscribe to the channel, like the videos, all those good things. I will be back Monday, 11 a.m. Pacific time. I will see you guys then. Take it easy. Later.